What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. My name is DFree, and in this video we're going to go ahead and talk about the blue and purple stones that are available currently for a limited time in either Baba's shop, or not Baba's shop, excuse me, well, the Dragonstone shop, where Baba's shop used to reside about a year ago before they gave her own button. Anyways, aside from that, the Pilaf's Trove is where you get the blue stone. So anyways, hope you all enjoy. Subscribe if you're new for more content and all that other good stuff. So let's go ahead and break down where we are now. So as far as this is concerned, really quick answer. We're going to start off on the blue stones. I want to point out, like I always point out, the obvious of the obvious. Pick whatever you want, pick whatever you want, pick whatever you want. Also, another thing, another layer to that is if you need a character to finish off, potential system of a character that you use very often, and maybe you're one dupe away or two dupes away or whatever from finishing off 100% on that character, you probably would want to strongly consider making that your choice. Otherwise, if you need to pick one of these characters for even super attack investment for another character or the same exact character, that is applicable as well. That is something that you can do, and feel good about your choice. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and rank these very quickly, and I'll go over afterwards kind of where they are good. Frenemies. Okay. Gonna rank them very quickly, and then afterwards I'll go over where they're good at in teams and things of that nature briefly. So first, actually, the funny thing about this is actually my ranking. This is the in-game news announcement, but this is actually my ranking as far as best to worst. And by no means does that mean that, none of these characters in between or even at the bottom of the list aren't good. They're all really good. It's just more or less I have to give somebody first place, and I also have to give somebody last place. So that is my brief ranking on these characters. Of course, that's subjective because all the things I just mentioned earlier as far as like individual players and what you would personally need, right? So anyways, when we come over here, I'm going to break these down into super and extreme and then in general. So my super characters at the top of the list, I'd say as far as usability, again, this is a little bit subjective because I'm not just going based off of damage output or things like that. It's very brief, but I'll explain in a moment. Top of the list are the two fusion units. You decide, doesn't really matter. Gogeta first, second, whatever. Either way, they're at the top of the list. Next, I'd put SS4 Vegeta. Then I would put SS4 Goku. Then I would put SS3 Angel Goku at the bottom. And this is why I said it's subjective, because I personally believe SS4 Goku is better than SS4 Vegeta. But again, SS4 Vegeta is actually a lot more usable now, and I'll get to that in a moment. When it comes to the extremes, it's really no contest. It's Cooler, then it's Broly, then it's Janemba, then it's Kid Buu, then it's 17. I love these characters, but they're not so great. They're just not. And for each one of them has their own issue. Like 17 is actually not in the category, so that in and of itself is an issue. Kid Buu has horrendous links. He has no key links. They're all attack links, but he's actually one of the harder hitters on this list in general, or he could be. And he also has a really good ability to heal you, but it's kind of like he needs to be in a lot of specific scenarios. His team always resided, or actually really needed a lot of key support and things like that you shouldn't necessarily have to do to compensate for his deficiencies. Janemba is probably the best example of an average unit because he's the jack of all trades, master of none, does very decent damage, hits for probably about 1 million damage, 800k, 1 million damage in that area a lot of times on crits, especially at 100% investment like all these other units do. He dodges. Actually, he introduced the dodging mechanic, I believe, on the passive, and he's not actually really good at it anymore, but I guess he does still do that. The funny thing about Janemba is that it's funny to see whether or not the Janemba would wind up being better post-Extreme Z Awaken. It's actually very possible. And Cooler is actually really good. He's the only one that actually can be competitive with these hero characters either. So anyways, to break them down further, when I kind of include all of them, at the top of my list is going to be the fusions again, Gogeta, then Gotenks. Then otherwise, we're going to still put the SS4 Vegeta. Then I'm going to put Cooler. Then I'm going to put Goku. Then I'm going to put SS3 Goku. Then basically the rest of my list from there is... Actually, you know what? I'm going to put Broly right above Cooler in terms of overall. Not that he's a better villain, but because him and SS3 Goku are two of the best possible candidates for the SS3 team. So I'm actually going to go fusions, and then SS4 Vegeta, then the two SS3s, then I'm going to go Cooler, then SS4, and then from there we're going to go the rest of the villains. It doesn't matter. So... not going to talk about these guys too much because they're very old units. If you need one for Potara, if somehow you didn't summon for, if you summoned for the leader and you didn't wind up walking away with either Super Vegito, go for it. If you need Gotenks for the fusion team and you somehow didn't walk away with a Gotenks unit, go for it. Buhan, he actually is the only iteration of these he's actually the only one on this list that doesn't have a better version of himself in the game already. Broly per se doesn't necessarily either, because there hasn't been a newer Broly since then, except for the LR if you want to include that. But the old Broly, the original Broly, actually got a lot better post Extreme Z Awaken anyway. He's better than this one now, so there's that. But of course there's a new Omega. He's the Shadow Dragon Arc leader, so of course. But Buhan is in a weird spot because he's facing very tough competition these days on JP as far as Extreme Int is concerned. Like, he's probably honestly like the 11th or 12th best unit on that team overall. If you're looking at a general list of all the characters, he's probably about that low now. So he's really facing tough competition these days, whereas before it was him and Super Vegeta was like the best units in the game here. So anyways, Gotenks, I already talked about him. But of course, Gotenks, there's a little bleed over for that, because if you have both stones, there's no reason you would choose Tech Gotenks, assuming you don't have physical Gotenks. Even if you do, no real reason to choose that way. So when it comes over here, the reason why I ranked the two fusions at the top is because they're two of the best possible fusions. And fusion, unless you summoned and have access to the Dragon Ball fusions units, and also the SS3 Gotenks, which doesn't apply to global, but some people are saying he might come soon. There's also a little bit more to that. I'm not going to talk about it too much anyways on global. But anyways, when it comes to fusion, long story short, it's not the most expansive list. It doesn't have the most units. Like, Potara has a lot more applicable units. Fusion really doesn't, because it's just Fusion Dance. And these two are the best other than the two leaders. You know, the SS4 Gogeta and then the LR leader. These are the next two best units. So you definitely want to go ahead and pick them up. But I will say that if you have STR Gogeta and you're missing Int Gogeta and you do not have an SS3 Gotenks, pick up SS3 Gotenks, because STR Gogeta is good enough for the time being. Otherwise, you can wait for, of course, you can also wait for the units to come back before you decide a little bit. I don't know if you can wait necessarily. You might be able to get lucky and pull them on the banners that are live. But otherwise, same thing goes in the inverse. If you have physical Gotenks, no reason not to go for Gogeta here, or Tech Gotenks, excuse me, no reason not to go for Gogeta here, because they're both direct upgrades of their older units. I think that the difference is a lot more significant between the two Gogetas than it is against the Gotenkses, but nonetheless, that's kind of how I would say, because having two versions of one character but not having the other, say, example, you have two Gotenkses but no Gogetas, it's not as good because you're immediately missing a spot. But if you have one version of one character and you can pick up the other version of the other character, because again, they have the same names as the previous versions, so you can't use them both, then you would obviously want to do that. So anyways, as far as Vegeta, the reason why I ranked him so high, because like I said earlier, I don't believe he's actually that good in comparison to a lot of the other characters on the list. Like, I think it's subjective. There's a debate to be made whether or not he's even better than Cooler, right? So when it comes down to it, and honestly, I would probably pick Cooler, just to be honest. When it comes down to it, Vegeta is really, really good on the teams he's applicable to. He also seen a really good resurgence because of the Ultra Full Power Goku SS4 coming out, being basically his best friend on the Shadow Dragon Arc category, and that category picks up being a lot better with the addition of that character. Unfortunately, just like the Fusion category, the Shadow Dragon Arc category is basically the most limited summonable category in the game. So if you need or plan on summoning for SS4 Goku full power, you definitely want to make sure you pick up a Vegeta if you do not have him. Again, make sure you pick up a Vegeta if you do not have him. Can I say it again for the people in the back? So that's why he's really, really good. Also really good on other teams such as Pure Saiyans. I believe that's the only other category he's going to be able to be on. But he's really, really good there too, especially if you were lacking those LRs units like the LR Broly, LR SS3. So he's a really good unit for that option. Also, I don't want to discount the fact that he can be really good on the hero team. Unfortunately, the issue with the hero team, though, is that it wants to be over in a flash-centric as opposed to prepare for battle or shocking speed-centric, because unfortunately, Tech Vegeta Blue does not have prepare for battle like his other predecessors, I guess. So anyways, we move over to SS4 Goku. Unfortunately for him, he does not have the same viability as Vegeta, being on that extra category that actually is a lot better nowadays because of the addition of another really good unit. But he can be really good in a lot of the same scenarios, such as being really good on the Pure Saiyans category. Unfortunately, I believe that's the only category he's able to be on right now, but he's really, really good there. And you already know how powerful this unit is on Super STR. And by the way, I'm not gauging them based off of super teams like Super Ant, Super AGL. I'm not doing that. Because the whole ranking changes if I base them under the old meta of 120% leaders. The whole ranking actually changes significantly, which is where some of the guys, like, if you were like listening to my rankings and being like, wait, what? How? No, that's where more or less your thinking probably was in relation to mine. But The reason why, aside from that, is that you guys know how good he is under 120. So, of course, being on 130, he's still doing millions of damage. He can also still be with his best friend, the SS3 Goku under Pure Saiyan. So he's really, really good there. But that's basically the only team he can be on right now. So right now, my ranking has to be the way it is because Vegeta is more accessible and more usable. Anyways, SS3 Goku and Broly, they are both, and Broly a little bit more so than Goku in my opinion, really, really good on the SS3 category team. And Goku is actually very significantly placed as far as this is concerned because he's actually Angel Goku. He's able to be on the team alongside either AGL Extreme Z Awakened Goku or the LR SS3 Goku. So you can literally have him on the team with another SS3 Goku. So he actually is another character that can fill out that spot as well. And of course, he has a little gimmick. He's also a good leader, but he also has that little gimmick of getting the rainbow orbs. So it helps, right? And as far as Broly is concerned, Broly does not get the passive increase of the SS3 Bardock leader because that only applies to super units, and unfortunately Broly is an extreme unit. But otherwise, he's fortunate because he does not have Over in a Flash. That's not why he's fortunate, but he's fortunate because the leader actually picked up Prepare for Battle to literally cater to Broly. Like, I swear that when they did that, they were like, oh yeah, we'll make another unit that has Over in a Flash and Prepare for Battle. In fact, the first Super Saiyan 3 unit that has both, because there are other units like Super Saiyan Blue, Kaioken, etc. that have those two links, but the first SS3 is the leader, and it's probably just literally to cater to Broly and the fact that he is inexplicably missing Over in a Flash, like SS3 Vegeta. Unfortunately, like SS3 Vegeta, you know, Tech, and like there's a couple other ones I think that are missing it. But anyways, he actually has Prepare for Battle, whereas they don't. Although the GT ones have GT, but still. Yeah, so that's where Broly comes in. Cooler, he doesn't really have a lot going on. He's in movie bosses, and he's honestly one of the best units in that category. And the sad thing about that category is Turles is literally one of the best units in the game. Like, you wouldn't know it by looking at Turles, and a lot of people wouldn't even give him that type of ranking because he's Turles and he's a support unit, but he's universally applicable on these teams. He can be on any team as a support unit and be literally make that team better despite him not being a part of that category. And he's the only unit in the game for the most part that applies to. So yeah, Cooler is amazing on that team, especially with two Turleses running around and access to Janemba and links with Janemba and other characters that would be in the movie boss category. So yeah, Janemba I guess technically would be next on the list. Kid Buu again, he's only on the Majin Buu saga. Maybe in the future when we get an actual like Majin Buu category, hopefully their leader would be a key-based one because Kid Buu really needs it. Even when linked with a unit like Buhan, who basically triggers everything for Kid Buu, it's all attack. He needs key support, and you need the orbs, or you need to use key items or things like that to really manipulate it. You shouldn't have to do that, basically. Super 17, of course, is not a part of any category. So I just can't go further. But he's really good. Like, again, if he's a part of a category, depending on how good the category is, like an Android category, like I've won it for a long time, then maybe he ranks a bit higher because he'd be one of the best characters innately on that type of team. If not, like, the second best character, assuming that the new leader would be better than him. So that's my ranking on this. Of course, like I said earlier, there are a few elements as far as like what you would need personally, but it all comes down to usability, in my opinion. That's why I decided to rank them. I thought that, you know, the SS3 and Gogeta, of course, are really, really good. And, of course, SS3 can be on Hybrid Saiyans too. So that's another thing, whereas Gogeta I don't think can be on any other team right now other than Fusion. But I'm probably forgetting something. But otherwise, SS4 Vegeta, like I said, I really don't think I think he's honestly, if I were just ranking them under the previous meta, probably about this 5th or 6th best unit, personally, in my opinion. Among all 10 of these. So, like, he jumps way up by being able to be on Shadow Dragon and honestly being almost necessary for that team because it's such a limited category. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed. Subscribe if you were new. And if you guys have any other recommendations or questions, let me know in the section down below the comments. And subscribe if you were new. Tweet me anything if you want to as well. Link is down below in the description. Have an awesome day. I'll catch you in the next one.